this week, and what a game, man. Honestly, I lost my voice. What a fucking finish. What a comeback. 19-point deficit, and what a fucking feeling. I mean, literally, like, after that game was done, it was literally a party, and that's why I go to the parade, and that's why I feel that way. But who better to talk to than my boy Vinny T? Yes, how you doing, my man? We definitely got to talk about this win.
Hey, man, definitely one of the more memorable games they've won of the regular season in quite some time. Comeback, who it was against, the Rams were kind of treating it like their Super Bowl if you looked at what they were putting on their Twitter accounts. But,
yes,
I mean, definitely just goes to show that that team's got no quit in them, man, and that just attests to their good coaching and all the things they've been through as a team the last couple of years, all the highs and all the lows.
For sure.
Everything kind of balanced out. So,
no, for sure. No, for sure. You definitely saw like the fight of a champion in that. It was definitely like emotional win, and even like the Rams, like they're 9-12 in their last 12 games, and their last 3 losses in that period was against us. So they just hate us, and they really like I already know we got like our target on our back since we are the champions, but like this team, like if we match up with them again in January, they're definitely gonna be drawing back to like this moment and trying to like look back on the drawing board to see how they can really beat us. But overall, Vin, like what did you make of this one? Like how from like the start to the finish, what did you make of this win for the Eagles as a team?
Yeah, just basically that I just said they are never out of a game. They have that championship fight in them, and all of that is because Nick really knows how to just keep everything in the moment at the time, taking everything one play at a time. Finally seeing him. He did last year too. If they needed to make halftime adjustments, they certainly made them.
For sure.
And I love the fact that they came right out in the second half, and Kevin Patulio realizes I got the best receiver in the NFL. And if we get him in man coverage, no matter who's on him, especially Emmanuel Forbes, when we played Washington last year, AJ had great games against them.
Yes.
So, I mean, they walked down the field pretty quickly to open the third quarter.
Right.
Got right back in the game. Defense did their thing. And then right before you know it, it's 26-21. And it's a whole new ball game going into the fourth quarter. And last year they were never really in that position where they were down big at the half. They were usually blowing teams out or the games were close and they pull away from people.
Right.
But, seeing them being able to do it like this just gives me confidence that, they're never going to be out of the game this year. And even if they had lost, then, they almost pulled it out. And the fact that they were still able to come through in the very last play, and Jordan Davis, of all people, to make the last play, who's had a hell of a season to start the year.
Yes. For
all the scrutiny he's gotten. For him to make that play at the end and to still have the stamina to run all the way down into the end zone was incredible. So if you had the Eagles to cover, you were like the happiest person ever because that's one of the best backdoor covers that you're probably going to see all season.
No, for real.
It's crazy.
No, that was literally like icing on the cake. Like I know a couple people that put down on that, and I was even telling them I was like, I like the 3.5. I do. I just and then boom, that ended up running down like that. But yeah, man, shout out to Jordan Davis, man. He's been balling. I'm definitely really intrigued too because given he's been thrown in different situations and he's been thrown in a fire where he's being taken on as the main defender on a defensive line, which could be very difficult. I mean, if you already look at things on a defensive line, we're looking the Eagles play a 3-4 and sometimes a 4-3, depending on the play call and whatever. But on a 3-4, I mean, you got 5 guys against 3. So it's already a lot for him to take on what he's doing and shedding off blocks. But what he's been doing, even that on that sideline run, catching Stafford, that was huge. That was a big moment.
Yeah.
He definitely has stepped up in big ways, and I'm really excited about him. And we'll dive into a little bit in that a little bit. What I did want to ask you though, Vin, I mean, the wins are piling in, and I've been ripping Hurts, and now I'm gonna shut the fuck up, honestly, because he showed me again why he is him. He's just going to win. And whatever's thrown at you on defense, whether they're going to shut down Saquon Barkley because they gave up 200 yards against him last year and just he ran wild. So coming in, the Rams' focus was going to be Saquon. And a lot of teams coming into this year, they're going to try to shut down Saquon anyway. So they're going to stack up the box. We're going to put 8 people in the box and try to stop us. And, we've been feeling that out. And when things haven't been going good, we look at our quarterback to bail us out, and he did, and he came out in a big way. And I was telling my friends in a party chat, I was like, as long as we could just cap them at 26, even if they get a field goal, that's okay. But if we could just cap them at 26 and come back, because after that first score, I was like, okay, I just saw how easily things went down the field, and they just made it happen. I was like, where's this been? But after that broke down, I was like, yes, I can feel like this team is going to come back and win the game. I just had that feeling. And, and to cap things off the way it did. But I want to go back to the winning, what we have going on in terms of winning, honestly. 19 out of 20 games, man. How impressive is that, really, if we really want to break down things, as a team and where they are as a team moving forward?
Yeah, it's incredible. He said it was 19 to 20, which is crazy. And, the one loss in there, you just mentioned Hurts. He got taken out of that game with a concussion. They had a lead in that game. CJGJ, who is no longer with the team,
right.
He gets ejected. So, they'd be looking at, they would have to, I believe the record for consecutive wins was from the Patriots in 03 to 04. I think they won 21 or 22 straight games.
Yeah.
And including the playoffs, obviously.
Right.
And they're right on that doorstep, if not for, one or two plays in the Washington game last year.
Right.
Going a different way. But it just speaks volumes about the team, about the quarterback, and we'll stay on Jalen with this. All he does is win games, and whether he wins ugly, people will say he got carried by Saquon, he got carried by the defense. If you make him have to play quarterback, you'll beat the Eagles. Well, in the second half against the Rams, he had to play quarterback, and he beat the Rams in the second half. He had 230 yards. He had 3 touchdowns in the entire game. He was making big plays on fourth down with throwing and with running.
Yes.
And that's another added element to his game where if you want to play man coverage on him, and we saw it against the Cowboys, when your corners are – when their backs are turned to him and they're going for the defense or they're going for the receiver, he realizes that if nobody's open, he can just take off and run. Right. And that ability of having that within your quarterback and with the weapons they have on the outside just makes everything for the offense click, and it's better for everybody involved.
Right.
And for Jalen specifically, you could say whatever you want about him. He may not be as physically gifted in terms of his arm as certain other quarterbacks in the league.
Right.
But when you compare him to those quarterbacks, Lamar, Allen, Burrow, Mahomes, when they play Jalen Hurts in one-on-one, the Eagles win in large part because of Jalen Hurts.
No, for sure.
And he outplays those quarterbacks as well.
No, and yes, we've seen it countless times. No matter the matchup, he's there. He's there, and his record, I believe, in the last 49 games is 39-10 or something like that.
Yeah.
So his resume is very impressive. No matter how he does it or gets it done, it's impressive. And like I said, I'm gonna shut the fuck up because he reminds me why he's him, why I have his jersey, and why we won a Super Bowl last year. He's been part of that.
For the games he started and finished, he hasn't lost in 17 games, which is an entire season. Well, it's an entire season worth of games. There's an 18-game schedule now,
right.
or an 18-week schedule, pardon me. But just to see him, every year there's a new coordinator, there's something new with the team, and he just adapts to it so well. And all they do, sure, they may stumble out of the gate. We saw last year it took them a couple weeks to get ready with the offense. We're kind of seeing it for a 4-quarter game with the offense this year.
Right.
I'm really excited to see where the offense is going to be in 3 or 4 weeks, and especially him.
Yes.
And if they can just kind of get everything meshed and going into another playoff run with the experience they have from winning the Super Bowl last year, they're going to be just as dangerous as they were last year. And every year he gets better in the league. So, it's another year under his belt. It's another year where he's wiser. I would just love for him to actually have the same coordinator for multiple seasons.
I know, right?
And I know we're not going to be able to, to see if we're going to have that next year.
Right.
The early goings would probably say they are, unless the offense really turns it up and Petulio becomes a head coaching candidate, kind of like what Kellen Moore was. But,
right.
Jalen's also proven that if you put a new coordinator in here, I can still be successful. Whether that's with just the only thing that really matters in the NFL is wins and losses, or if I have to, I can put up good numbers.
No, for sure. And I think, the media wants to inflate numbers and make it sound like it's the most important thing in the world, but it's not. And it's really what it comes down to is winning, and that's what he does, and that's what he's...
Mm-hmm.
But, you make a great point, shuffling around from coordinators and all that, he's shown from, different offensive minds of how they want to conduct plays and stuff that he's going to, do the best he can. We had a little, blemish with Brian Johnson and it had to fall out in terms of that, but I think Sirianni moving forward understands what is going to help make this team go on offense. Whether like I said, whether they just have to play what the defense is giving them, and they play that very well. So they'll make adjustments and then go forward from there, and then in the whole duration of a game, they'll make those adjustments to help win that game, and that's why it shows in this this win, like this whole period of time where they've been winning, and it's been really crucial. It's been really fun to watch, and I'm really excited too. So I wanted to come back and swing over to our good friend Jordan Davis because he's been balling, bro, honestly, and
Yeah, he has been.
so he got his buddy over there too, Jalen Carter. So I just been wondering because we're looking at Jordan Davis playing right now, and we've been waiting for him to like blossom and bloom into the superstar that we thought we were gonna get in the draft. And don't get me wrong, he's definitely been a really solid piece to what we've been doing, especially on the defensive front. But contract talks, money talks, and this is where NFL business gets a little sticky and weird. But I mean, I was gonna I'm like kind of thinking like the way he's been playing and showing out, he's been at a higher level than Carter, and there's even stories coming out about Carter not being out of shape. I mean, he's still being disruptive and
Yeah,
doing his thing.
I've seen that too. Yeah.
So I just want to know, Vin, who do you think? Do you think Jordan Davis merits the bag before Jalen Carter does?
I do want to give myself a pat on the back for not giving up on Jordan Davis ever.
Yes.
I always thought he was a very good player,
He's
especially
a special
coming
player.
out. And I said this when we first had our first ever episode together on this.
Mm-hmm.
Those young defensive players having to play for multiple coordinators over the course of the first 2 or 3 seasons,
Yeah.
new systems. And if you're a D lineman, like you talked about the 4-3 and the 3-4, if you're a 3-4 tackle versus a 4-3 tackle, your assignment is completely different.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And you have to, and then if you're in a 4-3, you're playing next to 2 people as opposed to 1 person.
Right.
And having those 2 together when you're lining up in a 4-3, if you're an offensive line, or if you're an offense, unless you want to play a 9 on 11, you can't double both of those guys. Only one of them can get a double team.
Right.
The other's going to get freed up. I still think Carter's getting double teams. To answer your question, does he get the money before? I mean, technically he could because of he was drafted before. They've exercised his contract. They technically don't have to give Carter a contract.
Right.
But if the Eagles had to make a choice, like, hey, if we're going to dish out X amount of dollars to Carter or Davis, who would get it first? I would still say Carter because, his absence was clearly felt in the Cowboys game when the Cowboys were walking up and down the field for 5 or 6 yards of carry. There was a lack of an interior pass rush, which Jordan Davis has. Don't get me wrong. He can definitely turn that on.
Right.
In terms of who's better against the run, they're pretty equal, but I just think the overall skill set and like who has the most complete bag, if you will, I would say is Carter.
Okay.
And I just think he's still one of the 3 best players on the team. Davis and Carter should be the cornerstone of that defense if I'm Howie Roseman for the next 5+ years, and even thinking like long term, like 10 years. Like, who are the guys that I want to be like, Brandon Graham and Fletcher Cox? Like, those are the 2 guys that I want. And since they played together in college, they have good chemistry together. And if you maybe sometimes when teammates see a position that one guy gets paid and I don't get paid yet, there could be animosity there. But I think considering the fact that, they're good friends, they're former teammates in college, they're coming up together in the league, I don't think it's going to bother the other one too much. It may bother, you would think if it were to bother one and not the other, you would probably go towards Carter being a little more upset.
Right.
But, his play has to warrant that contract that he's going to be scheduled to make, and he's going to make well over $100 million on his contract coming up next year.
No, for sure.
And unless he really turns it up between now and January and possibly February, Davis could get it first, and they could let Carter play on his rookie deal for 1 more year.
Yeah.
But if I had to really just, make a final bet on it, I would say Carter gets a huge extension first. But I still think both of those guys are going to be in the long-term plans, and as they should be, because those 2 together are almost unstoppable, and especially if they're both on their game. Because if you look at it, neither one of them, if one's on their game, which is Davis, Carter isn't. Now just imagine what the defense would be like if they're both on their game with this version to Jordan Davis that's getting more snaps, he's in better condition, he's in better shape, and they're able to play more snaps together, deeper into games and deeper into the season. Not good for offenses, that's for sure.
No, it's a force. It's literally going to be when an unstoppable object meets, a force. Because, like, these guys are just...
You have 2 guys that you literally... One of them, like I just said, like, one of them needs a double team.
Right.
And the unfortunate part of that, if you're the offense, is if I double this guy, if I double Carter, Davis is, 330?
Yeah.
And I have to line him up on one-on-one with somebody and possibly my center. And now if I want to double Davis, well, Carter is a great pass rusher on the interior. He's too fast for guards.
Right.
We saw that against the Rams when he made that great sack on Stafford. And we saw Jordan Davis do it in the NFC Championship game against Washington. Like, they both can do the same things just as good, but I just think Carter is still a smidge better. I just think, he's got a little bit more of a complete game in terms of the pass rush.
No, for sure.
And that's why I think he's a little more valuable moving forward.
No, absolutely, and I think Howie's going to do everything he can to make sure these guys can stay in that lineup for a long time and a long period of time to come. So I did want to wrap up here. Well, two things I wanted to wrap up on. But first up, injuries. What do you think about, we had to report about Nolan Smith,
right before
Lane
we
Johnson,
came on, I
neck
just
injury.
the Lane Johnson neck, it sounds like he's going to be back.
Yeah.
And I just assumed maybe it happened on a tush-push play because that was the last play. It was the last play he was in.
It did.
But when they showed him on the sidelines, again, when you have a stinger, it's just an injury that goes down from your neck into your arm. It can linger into your back. And obviously, you're an offensive lineman. You're getting contact every single play head on. You don't want to take risks with that.
Right.
To the best of my knowledge, that's the first injury they've had running that play.
Yeah.
So I don't want to hear anybody saying that the tush push is unsafe or this is what happens. They've probably, I don't even know how many times collectively they ran that play. Let's just call it 100. Mm-hmm. That's the one injury on their end.
I know.
Other teams try to run it, they can't run it well. But injuries on the Eagles, right before we came on, they had to put Nolan Smith on IR. They're going to be without Bennett and Jackson this week against Tampa.
I know.
Thankfully, the flip side, which is good, that Mike Evans won't be playing.
Yeah, that helps out.
And I believe Chris Godwin I think they started him on the IR list this year, so he's not even eligible to play.
He's not. They've been using Sterling Shepard and Ibuka, obviously. So
Ibuka has been really good.
Yeah.
I think, I have him in all my fantasy teams.
Yeah,
I think he could be when I was doing my drafts, and every time I picked him, I just said that's going to be the rookie of the year in the NFL.
No, for sure.
Because he's wide receiver 2 at worst in an offense that loves to throw the ball with a great quarterback. And Evans starts a lot of attention, and now he gets a lot of one-on-one opportunities. And, if you look at those Ohio State receivers, every year they come out, they have good rookie years. A lot of them do. With the exception of JSN,
yes.
But last year he played behind Metcalf, and now he's getting the chance to be
look at him this year.
And he's getting a little better. And next year, when Jeremiah Smith comes out, I'm going to draft him, and I'm going to draft him in one of my leagues too, because he's going to be nasty.
No, he's going to be a special player too.
Yeah, for sure. I think he might be the best of all of them in terms of who's coming out of college at the last.
Dude, he could have been the number 1 pick coming out of high school.
Yeah, which is, and when he comes in the NFL, you could probably say he's top 10, instantly.
For sure.
He's that talented. But what does suck too is they're already pretty thin at corner and they're thin at edge rusher.
Right.
And not having Nolan out there, I know Tristan Wirfs is still not back yet for Tampa. So again, we just talked about Carter and Davis. This is a game where they have to be out there and they have to be making plays.
Yeah, it's gonna come through the middle, not from the edge.
And Jalen Hunt, this is an opportunity where maybe he can showcase a little more.
I'm waiting. I see 58 out there. I'm thinking, I'm like, Trent. Yeah. I'm like, no.
I'm waiting for him to make, he had a really good playoff run for the Eagles last year. He was really good at the end of the year. But, hopefully.
Even the things coming out of camp, Mailata had high praise for him, too.
Yeah, and, when a guy like Mailata is saying, he's, getting good reps on me.
Yeah.
And, that's saying something.
No, for sure.
And in terms of the corners, Vic Fangio always said that Keely Ringo just has to be ready because he's going to get his opportunity.
Maybe this week, man.
And here's the thing. If Keely Ringo goes out there, he plays really well. And maybe Vic would say, hey, listen, he's the hot hand. I'm not going to take him out if he's playing well. And then maybe, hopefully, right? Because I don't want to see Adoree Jackson back out there.
Yeah, I'm tired of it, too.
I know he didn't play as bad as he did the first 2 weeks. He looked all right.
But that's more of a product of the players around him playing better.
Yes. Yeah, that's true, too. And hopefully Ja'Cory Bennett's injury is not too serious.
Yeah. He's a promising prospect.
I think by the middle of the year, if he's able to kind of get his feet wet in the defense, I think he can kind of be somebody that could be a good corner for him. And, we always, we seem to forget about Cooper DeJean, even though they like to put him in the slot. They really don't want to play him on the outside because what he's able to do playing on the inside, he can blitz off the edge, he can play the run, he can cover the flats, and he can cover more ground by playing in the middle of the defense as a nickel as opposed to playing on the outside.
I know,
and you don't have to worry about Quinyon.
Right.
What he's doing against number 1 receivers, when PFF drops their numbers, he is he's taking every wide receiver one he's faced, even going back to his rookie year last year. Not one wide receiver one has had a good game on him yet. And it's for a guy that came out of a small school. He got compared to Terrion Arnold a lot. their numbers head to
Oh,
head
dude.
since getting drafted, he's like light years ahead of them
I
already.
know. I mean, looked at Terry on Monday night, man. He had a lot of he's. I think he's since he's been a starter, he's tied for the most pass interference in the
Yeah.
NFL. So it's definitely I'm definitely glad we got the better end of that corner deal. But I gotta wrap things up, man.
All right, brother. Always good.
No,
Appreciate it.
absolutely. I appreciate you coming on and shooting the shit, talking some Eagles, especially after a win like that, man.
Yes,
Definitely
sir, man. We're gonna
the
get one
AJ
more this
Brown game,
weekend
man.
too. So
I know for sure we're gonna rack them up, and it's gonna be interesting to see as we go down to Tampa, going there a little bit earlier and feeling things out down there. But I think they're gonna be more ready and understand what they have to do down there this time. So,
sure, man.
all right, man. Have a good one, man.
Yeah. Take it easy, brother.
So we're back, and week 3 definitely delivered. We had some good stuff, good matchups, a good Monday night football game. We talked earlier about the Eagles and Rams game being crazy, but there were some surprises too, with the Packers losing to the Bears, and I don't think anybody saw that coming. What a big bubble burst of gambling money that was. But I got the right man back in the house to talk about week 3. And how you doing, G?
Yo. You know when I hear from Joffey, it's calling how I see it. I'm feeling good, ready to do this.
Let's do it, G. Let's do it. So, like I said, we saw some things break down, and I'm still kind of wondering who's really good. I know everything's still kind of in preseason mode and everything, but I'm just kind of trying to feel things out here. I'm who's really good, who's really a fraud. Detroit showed up big in Monday Night Football against the Ravens. Their run game came back, and it seems like your friend over there, fantasy guy, Mr. Lamar, kind of. It wasn't his fault though.
He played good. He could have played a little better. I think 7 sacks. I just couldn't understand why he wasn't running more.
I know.
Wasn't there. Get out of there, bro. Use those legs. I felt like he was dancing around the pocket a little longer than normal, but is what I guess he was trying to hope somebody open. But I was thinking just bust out, keep it lateral. I mean, do what you got to do. Let people move with you. I just felt like he stayed in the pocket way too much.
No, I agree. I agree, Jay. We didn't really see that type. That version of Lamar getting beat up like that. I never seen it really. I mean, Aiden Hutchinson was being a big disruptive force up front. I gotta give them credit, bro. I thought maybe they were gonna take a step back, coordinators and everything, but it seems like Dan Campbell really kind of cracked the whip on week 2 after that loss to the Packers.
They got a lot of talent, bro. Bottom line is they got the horses, whether they're coached or not. But they have the horses, man. When you got talent like that, you can make things happen.
No, for sure. I definitely would say they're still a good team. So, in the breakdown of things, like I said, it's still very early. Some teams are still, they're not playing their best football, obviously. A lot of teams aren't. So, but, I mean, I think there's still a distinction from, what you can watch and what you can see. Who's really a good team? I mean, we can look at the teams that made the playoffs last year, some even regressing, like the Chiefs. But what do you think, G? How many teams right now? Do you think there's 8 teams, maybe 10 teams out there that are you can say are good?
I was just looking here in the AFC. I was thinking Bills, Chargers. I mean, Bengals without Joe Burrow, can they be taken serious now? Steelers. I don't know if they can score enough, and the defense is questionable. The Ravens, they're scoring 32 points a game, 37 points a game, giving up 32.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, the Colts, the Jags, so that's the AFC. And then the NFC, the Eagles, out in front, of course, Commanders, 49ers, Lions, Bucks, Vikings. The Packers, they're scoring, 21 a game, and they're giving up 14. So it seems to be the offense is really not doing their part there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I hear you on that.
So the Packers can be on that list. You got a few teams. Of course, as the season goes on, they're going to start to differentiate themselves, and teams will fall off. The injury bug bit the Eagles, but you lost the defensive end.
Yeah, we just Nolan Smith. Nolan Smith having tricep issues. He got injured during the Super Bowl and actually had played really good in the Super Bowl, but he had his surgery, but now he re-aggravated the injury last week, which is big.
Yeah,
I mean, Lane Johnson getting hurt in the tush push with getting a stinger and stuff. So, I mean, yeah, we're gonna get banged up, and like you said, like even like our matchup this week against the Buccaneers, they're banged up as well. They're missing receivers, like
right.
Mike Evans again. It's only a matter of time until we start seeing him pull his hammy. I mean,
Right. Yeah.
it like the injury bug strikes in different ways, and it's definitely part of football. It's just nature of playing sports. The injury bug just comes when it wants. but
Right.
but I would say I think there's definitely like a different we like to like categorize and make a pyramid of like levels of teams that are like championship teams or playoff contenders and stuff. But like it's even like the 49ers, dude. Like they're 3-0 and they're missing their starting quarterback. They lost Nick Bosa for the whole year, so that's big pieces of their team just missing right now, and they're still able to pull off wins. And I think that shows virtues of a team that can hang tight, and then once they finally get more healthy down the line, they can even show like a better level of themselves as the season progresses and stuff. But like you said, you can go down the list. The Packers, though, I just still I'm still scratching my head about that. I'm just like, how I mean,
week to week league, week to week.
Yeah, it is.
And a bad week.
Yeah, it's just really
How do they respond?
It is all about the response, and I believe they're playing Dallas this week. So I mean, I'm sure there will be a big response with Micah Parsons being around and stuff. So you know what I mean.
It should be fun.
Yeah, it's gonna be a fun game to watch, and especially after what happened with them, I would not consider them a good team right now, losing to the Bears the way they did.
Oh no, they're not on my list. They're
No.
not on my list on any level. I pretty much got the Rams, 49ers, Commanders, Eagles. I guess you got to put the Seahawks somewhat in the realm of being good. What are they still? Vikings. Right. I mean, they've got their quarterback down for a little bit, so it's going to be interesting to see if they can Carson Wentz themselves to some victories.
It's really crazy, honestly.
Right?
It actually kind of, could be a full circle story. I mean, it's a week. I mean, they're going to Dublin to play the Steelers this weekend, so we're going to see how things break down there. But if he has another good showing like he did last week, there could be some grumblings that maybe McCarthy just isn't ready to start yet, or but like if you're gonna look at McCarthy though, I mean this is given he didn't play last year, didn't have the experience because of injury, but like being understanding of the offense. I mean Carson Wentz kind of just came in there, and he's already got a good grasp of the offense and things, and is keeping things on motion. And that
I think their defense had a lot to do with setting the tone.
I know, as an Eagles fan, no, for sure. No, he wasn't the reason. He was not the reason. No, he wasn't the reason.
When McCarthy's ready, I think he comes back. I don't think there's any hesitation. I don't think. It'll be interesting to see.
No, for sure. I mean, like, I guess because of last year, we look at Sam Darnold being like a journeyman quarterback, and Carson Wentz possibly having this opportunity. But like you said, though, I think where the Vikings are this year, I mean, if McCarthy's healthy, though, it's more invested into McCarthy. You would have to throw him back out in the field and not hold back like that. So we'll see how that develops. But like you said, though, their defense came big. I mean, Flores is shown with that personnel up in Minnesota that they know how to run things. But as an Eagles fan, man, I watched Isaiah Rodgers probably have like one of the best defensive games I could ever see a person have in a game. For real, he was I know, and it makes me miss him, especially given our corner situation that we're dealing with right now with injuries and stuff. So, but kudos for him for looking good in big moments like that.
Give me a few more weeks, and I'll be able to give you just tell you who's falling off and who's rising up.
No, for sure. I mean, like I said, everything's still new. But like a team like the Chargers, right? I definitely see that team like taking up that level. Like I mean, like I feel like Harbaugh has them coached pretty well. They're playing smart football. Defense has been really good. I think they're like complete team wise. I think they've shown they've like grown compared to what they were last year.
Did you see the throw Herbert made to Allen?
Yeah. Fucking
sick, bro.
Fucking missile, bro.
I was watching it, and I was like, damn, that was a good throw. When he did it, and they broke it down again today, or I saw it online somewhere.
Yeah.
It was sick, dude. It was.
No, it is. It's really crazy. And, like, even like Herbert last year, yeah, he kind of like things kind of fumbled and shambled for him in the playoffs. So, but like this year, you definitely see that him and Harbaugh have put in work together. And yo, we gotta give Harbaugh credit, bro. He's really he played quarterback, so like we know his
I'm a
mental.
big Jim Harbaugh
Yeah,
guy.
I am. I
I'm
mean,
a huge
I think
fan.
a lot of Ravens fans would take Jim Harbaugh right now over John Harbaugh, given all these lead flows or whatever.
Just
These
gotta let it play out. I
yeah,
mean,
but you're right about that though.
Baltimore definitely has issues. They're going to be in that the end.
That's gonna be an interesting matchup too. I mean, we're looking at the Ravens and Chiefs is coming up this weekend. They're in both states of I mean we've seen the Chiefs start off slow in some time and at some seasons and aspects, but like to see where these two are colliding at each other right now, it's like they're both looking for a win really bad right here. So
I mean, no doubt.
nothing like two
Absolutely.
nothing like two teams clawing for a victory like that.
For real.
So G, a lot been going on. You mentioned the Steelers being a good team, in your list of here. But I wanted to ask you, what do you think about this Aaron Rodgers project going on so far with your squad?
It's been okay. It's been okay. I mean, like I
Yeah.
said, I've rooted for guys who I thought less of at quarterback. But I mean, Rodgers at this point, he's complete 65% of his passes, 195 yards a game, 7 touchdowns, 3 interceptions.
Right.
I mean, it's okay. It's
Yeah.
okay. We'll see what happens. I'm just gonna ride it out. 3 weeks in, 2-1. I have to say I gotta be happy with that at this point.
Right.
I'm gonna root as hard as I can for him every game. You know what I mean? I just don't know if we have the horses. At the end of the day, I don't know if the Steelers have the horses, man.
No, I hear you on that. I mean, all right. So he's like tied. He's like tied for the league in touchdowns right now, I believe. And I mean, he's still got that that's still in his arsenal. He's still got a killer play action. Like I saw the one guy on the Seattle team the one week he just was totally lost. I was like watching like a couple clips of this, but so like you have these spurts, and then we also realize he's a damn tree in the pocket, so he's not gonna be able to get away. I think he had like a scramble the other last game for like 4 or 5 yards or whatever. But I mean he's not gonna get away. But his arm talent's there. It's just. I mean, but that Patriots game, I don't even know. How did you feel about that, like, watching that? I mean, I know you guys got the dub and everything, but, like, you guys looked good. You guys caused the turnovers and everything, especially in the red zone and stuff, stopping the Patriots.
Bruce,
it
there
was
was a
big.
lot of bend but don't break defense.
Yeah.
In order for Rodgers to make the play action effective, we got to be able to run the ball. And I just don't know if we can run it effective enough.
No, they definitely have been using Warren. I got Warren in my fantasy team. But he's been a good receiving back. He's been very versatile. But like as a pure runner, they don't have it right now, and that's what he's always kind of been like the 2 back for them, and they're missing that number 1 back that they need to. They need that workhorse, man. So, but it was a good win. It was like the way things propelled and stuff for them. Like like you said though, G. We'll see how things come along down the season and stuff.
Absolutely. See what they do against Minnesota this week.
Yeah, I mean, what do you think about that game in Dublin?
I hate the overseas game. I'm not a fan.
Me too.
I mean, seems like they're not going to stop. They just keep trying to take the show on the road, and I guess I can understand that from a business standpoint.
The circus is in town.
Yeah, as a fan, I'm out on.
No, I hear you on that.
They can still watch it from over there.
Yeah, for real.
Why are they taking the experience from us over here? You know what I mean?
No, for sure. I mean, like that's definitely a thing. Like the players really don't like it, as we've seen over time, and then travel aspects. The only good thing as a fan that I like is that you get a little bit of football earlier in the day. I guess that's the only thing.
I like the 9:30 start.
Me too.
I do something about that I like, but
that's like the only thing.
If I didn't have it, I'd be okay.
Yeah, exactly. That's how I feel too. That's exactly how I feel.
I don't mind it. But if it wasn't there, I have to wait till 1 o'clock. All right.
Yeah, I think I could be a little patient, especially for football.
I think so. But I hear you.
No, 1,000% on that. So as we wrap things up here, we got week 4 coming up, and there's some matchups coming up. Which matchup are you most intrigued about watching this week?
I wrote down a few that I think should be interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to look at the Eagles Bucks. How you not look at that?
Yeah, the boogeyman. The Eagles got to fight the boogeyman.
You know, Rams Colts should be interesting.
Yo, that's a secretly good game, honestly.
Good game,
Yo,
right? I
huge
mean, it's
game.
gonna be a good.
Indiana Jones is
Ravens,
a thing, man.
Daniel Jones. I mean, they were saying Malik Neighbors. I saw this thing on social media. Him saying it's not the quarterback. To me, he was insinuating it was the coach.
Yeah.
He said it's the same thing. He said it's not the quarterback. It's the same thing when DJ was there.
Right.
Not the quarterback. I don't know what it is, but it's not the quarterback. And I think he's insinuating the coaching staff. But you know what I mean? That's how I took it.
No, I get that same message.
Right. So and I got the Ravens and the Chiefs. You brought that up earlier, and the Packers and Cowboys should be entertaining. So they're the 4 games I thought should be interesting.
Dude, the freaking Cowboys, bro. You guys have really honestly just turned into WWE wrestling. That's what it is. Like, I don't even know what to say, man. Like, honestly, G, tell me this, right? You have your best playmaker, right? And I guess you're not getting things going on offense, but you also had a running back that was averaging 10 yards a carry, which he's been doing pretty much all the year, as I'm talking about, Williams here, Javante. But they ran CD Lamb out the backfield, and now he has a sprained ankle, which I'm just still kind of baffled as to, I guess, maybe igniting a spark in terms of their offense and where they were given, but, like, what the hell, man? Why are you doing that? Like, let the guy catch the football. He's not paid to run the ball.
Well,
he got too cute.
Say it again?
I think they got too cute, man.
No, they definitely were trying to be cute, no question about it. I mean, he could get hurt on anything. He could be running and get caught there.
True.
I mean, technically, he could be hurt on any play. It was a football play. It was like that horse collar without really the hand in the back of the thing.
I know he's really lucky.
When he landed on his ankle, it's the same kind of thing, and it sucked.
It would kind of remind me of the Dak injury too. When Dak
absolutely.
When he broke his leg. You know what I mean? Like, they were very lucky that he didn't break his leg in this situation.
Oh, man, I know.
But at the end of the day, you're right though. G, it is a football play. Anything can happen at any given moment. I mean, you could do.
Yeah. But like you said, though, they just don't seem to be able to get things going for whatever reason, the Cowboys. I mean, they can't get CD the ball, and when they do get him the ball, he's been having the dropsies. So it's like, it's all, come on, I mean, should be interesting.
The Cowboys definitely shot themselves on the foot doing that.
No doubt. And then, you got the Parsons angle.
Yeah.
Which they're going to play up.
I feel like that's like the bet of the week. I feel like, Michael Parsons racking up a sack or some type of, I think that's going to be a very, very popular bet this weekend.
I know people want to see it. I know they definitely want to see it.
You always wanted to see freaking Parsons light up Dak Prescott.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So,
what?
Yeah.
Must-see TV. That's going to be a big game.
That's what I'm saying, but that's what the Cowboys have become. I mean, people are still going to watch them and stuff. It's just, it's just an entertainment aspect of, where they are in terms of value and everything. But G, I mean, this weekend should be interesting. Every weekend so far has been very interesting. But I really like the Colts and the Rams game. Honestly, I think that's.
Don't you think? I think it should be a good one.
That could be a total barn burner. There could be a lot of going on. Like the Colts, not even just like Daniel Jones, but Jonathan Taylor's been on a fucking mission, bro. We forget about how good of a running back he is.
Oh my gosh! Broke like three
tackles. Looked like Saquon for a second, bro. I was like, wow, that's fucking this guy's still a physical freak, given through his injuries and everything. No, for sure. That team's doing really good, and it's gonna be interesting to see. I like how they moving forward, and even back to the Chiefs and Ravens game too. That's gonna be interesting to watch. I mean, this was a rematch a couple years ago of a championship game, so it's gonna see who really shows up. Is it gonna be Lamar and them guys, or Pat and I got to give it to the Chiefs. They didn't look the best in the first half against the Giants. It was pretty hard to watch, I ain't gonna lie. But, at least they started to figure some things out. And,
That's another thing I wanted to bring up, too, is that the Chiefs, they're averaging 20 points a game scoring.
Yeah.
And that's not going to get it done.
No, it's not.
You know what I'm saying? I don't know if they have the horses, man. Right this point, they got some people hurt.
Yeah, I was reading Worthy might come back this week, possibly. He's been practicing, so that could definitely go ahead of schedule and help their offense out. Even if he's not even 100%, his abilities and stuff can still attract attention on the defensive side of things and help open things for other guys. So We'll see, but like you said, G, they might their horses their horses are starting to look a little dead, man.
I mean, for real, the barn's getting a little, I don't know. Looking up and down the barn, I don't see the horses they need. I just don't see it.
No, I
But
hear you
we'll
on
let
that.
it play out.
Yeah, yeah,
We'll
for
let it
sure.
play out.
No, for sure. And like I said, like even like in the past years and experiences and seasons, like we've seen them come off a little slow and then start figuring things
But,
out. So
but the losers 1-3.
I know
That's gonna be interesting. Think
that
about
puts
it.
yourself in a hole, and then God forbid, if you're like a Ravens fan, and you're 1-3, you're kind of, I mean, someone's gonna get the finger pointed at, and
Somebody.
I think that finger's gonna get pointed at John Harbaugh.
That's what somebody brought up the other day. I can't remember who it was. They were saying, it might have been a co-worker of mine brought that up, and I said, teams aren't together that long. You have a lot of turnover now, I think. I don't think
Right.
it's like he's talking to the same guys. Maybe your core guys, there's a few that are there, but most of the teams, they turn over, so I don't think it's his voice is cold or his voice is old.
Right.
Defensively, they got to figure something out. Offensively, I think they're good.
Yeah.
Defensively, something's not right.
No, for sure. They're having issues in their secondary. I mean, it's
Yeah.
like we've been seeing issues with Jair Alexander not really, living up to par what they expected in their signing with him. Even like coming in, if you were to look on paper at their secondary, you'd be like, wow, this good, looks good with Starks and Hamilton and everything lined up. But like Wiggins hasn't been playing good. You're expecting more things out of him. And Marlon Humphrey doesn't really look like the player he used to be either. So like definitely got to fix some things on their defensive side of, at least in their secondary and stuff, because getting lit up, bro. And especially on the second level too, they were having hard times with Montgomery, not making the tackles and stuff on him, like at least last
They were
week.
talking about Patrick Queen. Somebody brought up the, not Patrick Queen, say Raycon Smith.
Raekwon Smith, yeah,
They were saying how he,
he's kind of regressed a little bit at his
yeah,
position.
he's not really being the impact linebacker. They needed that position.
Right, exactly. Especially since they gave him a long-term typ of deal too. He played good last year, but
Right,
looking a little step slow
He's
right now.
been solid.
Yeah,
But he said for whatever reason they were pointing out him not being or not appearing to be what he used to be, for whatever that's worth.
for sure. But G, we got a lot of things to look forward to, and I look forward to talking to you more about it.
What, man? You just let me know when it's time to call it how I see it. Always down to call. Always thankful for you having me, man. No doubt.
No, I appreciate you hopping back on, G, minus all the technical difficulties. But we'll
It's
work
okay.
around it, and we're going to make it look good.
No doubt. I know you will, man. I'll get back with you, man. Be safe. Have a good one.
You too, G. I appreciate you coming on. Thank you.